We're starting to hear a groundswell of lawmakers calling for a ban on assault weapons. Democrats in the House are proposing a new bill that would restore and build on the assault weapons ban that expired back in 2004. So joining us is one of the congressmen behind that bill, Democrat David Cicilline. Congressman, thank you very much for being here. As we understand it, you're sponsoring this with Congressman Ted Deutsch. We've interviewed him many times because his district is Parkland, and he was down there, as we were, in the aftermath of the shooting. Look, the president doesn't support a ban on assault weapons. What are the chances of your bill?
Well, I introduced the bill yesterday with 164 original co-sponsors, which is a tremendously strong showing of support. 6 of the 10 deadliest mass shootings in recent history were committed by someone who bought an assault weapon and committed tremendous carnage. So this is a real epidemic. We know the assault weapons ban worked because when the ban expired that was previously enacted, mass shootings increased by 133% in frequency. So this is something that is very specific and can address this issue of mass shootings, eliminate putting more of these very dangerous weapons into our communities. And I'm hoping that this time will be different. You know, when the first assault weapons ban was enacted, it was after a number of mass shootings and there was momentum building. I think the young people of Parkland are going to help some of my colleagues find the strength to do the right thing and prevent these deadly weapons from being in our communities. So 164 co-sponsors, as you've just reported to us. How many Republicans? Those are all Democrats. I have been in conversations with a number of Republicans. As you reported already, Brian Mast has already expressed publicly his support for the assault weapons ban. Yeah, we just had him on. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I think that's really relevant. We just had him on, and he shares your feelings. So can you do something in a bipartisan way with him? I hope so. I've spoken to him. I've spoken to a number of Republican colleagues who are reviewing the bill. I hope that they will join us in this effort. There are a number of good bills to help reduce gun violence in our country. I think the assault weapons ban is one of those, and I'm hoping it will be bipartisan and that will have the support of some of our Republican colleagues. Obviously, you need Speaker Paul Ryan's buy-in to even bring this to a vote. So where is he on this? We haven't heard from him. Well, you know, I think, again, this is, like so often is the case, it's going to require the continued engagement of the American people, demanding that Congress do something to keep our communities safe and to reduce the epidemic of gun violence in this country. And I think we're going to continue to see a lot of activism around the country, folks demanding that their members of Congress do something. There are a whole range of bills that are pending in Congress. Yeah. And I think, again, it's really going to be incumbent on the individuals who are here in Congress to listen to their constituents, to be sure that they're doing something. And we've just got to keep the pressure on. And this won't be easy. This will be, you know, all these gun bills are going to be tough to pass because of the power of the gun lobby in this town. Yeah. But I think it's time for people to stand up and do what's right for their constituents and do all we can to reduce gun violence. There's no one answer to fix it all, but we can take a number of steps together that will significantly reduce gun violence in this country. But it's again, an epidemic. What does that mean for Speaker Paul Ryan? Have you heard from him? Well, I mean, I think the Speaker obviously is going to, you know, ultimately decide whether a bill comes to the floor. I don't think that the Speaker has expressed support for this bill. I mean, I'd encourage you to ask him because I think, you know, the support of the Republican leadership will make a difference. But look, it's no secret. We have not had a lot of support from our Republican colleagues on any of these measures. We have dozens of common sense gun safety proposals pending. We've been unable to get a single one of those brought to the floor for a vote. So I don't want to make this a partisan issue, but we have a long record of supporting common sense gun safety legislation, and our Republican colleagues have had a very long record of resisting that. So I'm hoping this will change and we can do this in a bipartisan way and do what's right for the American people. And I think the continued pressure from the public to demand action will help us in that effort. What about what the president said yesterday, which is don't be afraid of the NRA. Sometimes you have to fight them. They're not as powerful as you all think. I mean, that was basically his message to governors. What did you think of that? Look, I think, you know, I tell people all the time, this town is filled with lots of very powerful lobbying and advocacy groups. Some spend a lot of money, some spend less money. The fact of the matter is it's up to the members of Congress to sift through these advocacy groups and these arguments and do what's right for the American people. So while the gun lobby is very powerful, every single member of Congress has the power to overcome that with his or her vote. and we ought to stand up and do what's right for our constituents and for the American people.
As you know, when many Americans who are gun enthusiasts and support gun rights, when they hear about an assault weapons ban, they think that you want to take their guns, or at least they say that. I mean, I don't even really know if they think that you're going to confiscate their guns or if it's just a handy excuse, but they say that, you know, they worry this is a slippery slope. What's your response to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a very convenient argument. That argument is made any time we propose common sense gun safety legislation. The assault weapons ban would prevent the introduction of new assault weapons into our communities. It doesn't confiscate anyone's guns. So I think they've been very, very clever in that argument. Basically reject any common sense gun safety proposal because understand this is the first step of taking away your gun. I think it's been a very effective advocacy position and very, very effective in terms of their membership. But the fact of the matter is a majority of gun owners now support an assault weapons ban, 53%. 67% of the American people support an assault weapons ban. These are guns that are designed to kill the greatest number of people over the shortest period of time. An assault weapons ban will reduce the lethality and the frequency of mass shootings. It's a very specific problem we're confronting as a country. We have a responsibility to do something about it. The assault weapon ban that was previously enacted worked. We should do it again, and we should listen to the voices of these eloquent young people who are telling the adults, you need to stop talking about this and get something done.
So again, everyone gets to keep their gun. The ban would not apply to any existing guns that people own, just for new guns.
Right, which is exactly what the ban was when it was previously enacted by Congress.
Yep.
So this argument that someone's going to come take your gun, just not true. But let's reduce the number of and eliminate new guns, these very dangerous weapons coming into our communities. This is one step. There are many other things we can do and should do to reduce gun violence in our country. This is just one of them.
Congressman Cicilline, thank you very much for explaining your proposal to us.
Thanks for having me.
Chris.
All right, back to